What's going on, all you fishing freaks out there in YouTube and Facebook land? What's going on? My name is Tyler Waller. Welcome to an episode of On Another Line Live, here taking place in the On Another Line studio here in my basement of my humble abode here in Coal Grove, Ohio. Thanks for joining this evening. I got 4 of you lucky people out there joining me. If you don't care to give this thing a share, I'd appreciate it. Got a lot of cool information for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about how to use Google Maps and Google Earth Pro on your desktop computer to find spots that you may not know about on any lake that you're going to. For example, I'm going to Lake Fork here in April. I've never been there in my life. Huge hammer hole of a bunch of basses are going to be located there. And using historical data, using satellite imagery is something that I do a lot of times to break down lakes. And we're going to look at a lake that's really close to me called Grayson Lake. It's one of my favorite lakes to fish in this area. The lake is not the greatest lake in the planet to fish, but it does have some hammers in it if you can find them. Today, we're going to be talking about how I use technology such as Google Earth and Google Maps to try to find things. Also, if you guys don't use the Angler app, you should definitely start doing that. It's a free application, but the cool thing about the Angler app is that you can mark spots on the Angler app on the desktop version of it and transfer those not only to your phone, but if you have a Lowrance graph, which I do not, you guys know that I'm a Humminbird guy. But if you have a Lowrance graph, their app will actually connect directly to a Lowrance graph, as far as I know, and you can transfer the waypoints over. However, if you're a Humminbird like I am guy, Humminbird guy like I am, that's it. That's what I was trying to get out. Don't fret. There is a way to transfer the GPX files from Angler over to your application as well. We'll be talking about that not on today's show, but that's going to be coming soon. So, what we're going to talk about today again is going to be a fairly short episode tonight. I apologize. I just got done eating a bunch of snow crab. Misty hooked me up with awesome food. If you guys never had snow crab, it is one of my absolute favorite all-time meals. I just ate a pile of it. I am absolutely hammered here as far as I got a ton of food in my belly. But I got a lot of stuff to get accomplished this evening before work tomorrow. So I'm going to spend about a half hour in here talking to you fishing freaks and giving you guys a little bit of insight on what I can do to help you catch more fish in your local bodies of water. Second off, I do have some videos coming out very soon on my YouTube channel talking about how to clean some different reels. This is a Corrado, one of the older Corrado series. This is the I-Series Corrado. I'm going to be cleaning this one. I'm also going to be cleaning a spinning reel. It's not going to be this Vanford. This Vanford is brand new. It doesn't need cleaning. I'm going to do a Stratic CI4. I'm going to be doing that. But I do have a video that's going to be coming out probably tomorrow, the next day, talking about how to clean a Chronarch E-Series, which is something that I own a lot of. I've been tossing around the idea of getting rid of my Chronarch E-Series and upgrading to the new Corrado 150s, and I've had a hard time I guess talking myself into it because the Chronarch E-Series are amazing. I was going to replace the bearings on them, but as it turns out, the bearings that I have were just super, super dirty. I cleaned them really well using my ultrasonic cleaner and my methods using I'm going to show you guys. I've posted a video before on my YouTube channel. Same deal. Taking the reel apart, putting in an ultrasonic cleaner, and putting oil back on the bearings. But I did get them a lot smoother than normal, so I'm going to keep the E-Series for now. But I do have a video coming out with that. So without further ado, just as normal, we are brought to you this week by Solar Bat sunglasses, something that I have been using for about 4 years now, and they are amazing. I'll be doing a giveaway here very soon, not only for some lure lock boxes, some JB's fish sauce. That's going to be coming up after today. Tomorrow, I'm going to have that giveaway going on. And then after that, here in a month or so, I'm going to do a giveaway of a $100 pair of Solar Bat sunglasses. Also, if you guys are in my area and you want to go fishing with me, and we do, match up and go fishing somewhere, I set a thing through Gary Nesty, the owner of Solar Bat Sunglasses, gave me the opportunity to do a challenge with people that fish with me. Is I go out on a lake, and if I think a trophy-sized fish is like 5 pounds, all you have to do in my boat is to catch a 4-pound or bigger fish, and you win a pair of Solar Bat sunglasses from my arsenal. So if you guys are interested in that, let's make it happen. We are right now 8:35. I'm going to share this out. and sharing this out. If you guys don't mind to share it out, get some people in here, I'd appreciate it. But without further ado, I want to show my screen here in just a second. Here, one thing I want you to understand: there's two different versions of Google Maps and Google, not Google Maps, Google Earth. What's up, brother? Hey, man. Anytime. You know, my boat, your boat, we'll go fishing. You know how I am. I like to fish, and I know you're a fishing freak like I am. So definitely get a hold of me. We'll definitely go fishing, man. Like I said, my boat, your boat, doesn't matter. I have rods, we'll travel. Thanks for joining in tonight. But there are two versions of Google Earth that we're going to talk about today. What you want to work with, what I'm working with right now is the desktop version. It is free to download on Google. You can search for Google Earth Pro and download it. I would imagine it probably works on Macintosh and Windows. I'm running Windows right now, Windows 10. This has to be downloaded. You cannot do what I'm going to show you how to do today via a regular the Google Earth. Like if you just search for Google Earth on Google, it's going to pull up the web version of it, and that's not the one we want. Yeah, pull up something else here. Give me just 1 second here, guys. I'm logging into my Angler app. I'm going to show you guys what I was talking about, using both to your advantage. That is, if I can remember my password for said websites. Let me grab this thing here. And we will get started. You guys, thanks for joining this episode of On Another Line Live. We're going to be talking about how I use applications on my computer to find good spots on the lake or whatever I'm looking at, whatever I'm working on, that will allow us to see some things. Let's see here. There we go. And let's see here. Is that Grayson or is that Yatesville? That is Yates, Vegas. Yatesville. We're just going to use the Yatesville here for this, and we'll go back. So, all right. Anyway, back to that being said here again, guys, a couple of things I want you to understand is there are two different versions of Google Earth. We're going to be using Google Earth Pro, which is a free download. It has to be downloaded on your computer. You cannot use the web version. So I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to share my screen here again. I'm going to get rid of my ugly mug so I can see the full screen layout. So this is Google Earth, and this is Google Earth Pro. I have searched here in the bar. You can see that I have selected here Grayson Lake, Kentucky, and it actually brings me into the Google version, or the Google Maps version of Grayson Lake, and it shows you the most up-to-date features here. So this is the most up-to-date photo, originally. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice down here on the bottom left-hand side, hopefully you guys can see that, but it says down here that the oldest photo that's available is 1985. And the cool thing about this is that I can actually traverse back in the time all the way to 1985, which this lake did exist in 1985, but like Yatesville Lake did not. So I could go back and see imagery from when the lake didn't even exist. So I can actually mark points like roadbeds or bridges or what have you on there. And it's really, really handy. So I'm in Grayson Lake here. Now, to access old data, I want you to look right here where my cursor is at. If you see it, there's a button right here that says historical data. If you click on that, it brings up a timeline. And then the timeline, it gives you the opportunity to choose. So this is the newest one. This is just taken in 2019, this image. So I can actually, work my way in here, and I see here, I want to pay really close attention to this rock pile right here. I know exactly where this rock pile is at in Grayson. And if you fish Grayson, you know exactly where this is at. This rock right here is actually a jumping rock in the area, and they actually call this sex rock. So if you know where I'm at, this is the exact same location in Grayson. But if you notice here, if I go all the way back in here, and it'll take me to 1985, and it turns into this big blurry mess. Because, again, we're talking about satellite imagery from 1985. Not the greatest technology, but being able to get a photograph from a satellite in 1985 was actually pretty cool. But What I'm really interested in is this one that's in 2016. 2016, this lake right here is a flood control lake. And what happens is that they draw this down into winter pool, and it allows for fluctuation of like snow melt and rain runoff and all this other stuff, so it doesn't flood the basin that are around this and flood out the humans that live around this area. So this is a man-made lake. But if you notice here that in 2016, I can actually now see this bank at winter pool. And you can see here that there's a rock right here in this area that you really can't see if it's at full pool. You can kind of see it there, but you really can't. But if I draw it back down to 2016, this was taken in April of 2016. I can actually see a lot more stuff along the bank than I could see if it was down at full pool. So, or up at full pool. So here's another thing. Here's a really big point here going up into this. This has got to be a spawning flat. You can definitely tell that this is sandy. There's a creek channel coming in here. We have a rock bank here. This is going to be a transition point in the springtime. And there is a really cool bank here that I really like the way that it looks. There's a lot of chunk rock, a lot of boulders and stuff in there. And again, if I go back up to where it's full, you have no clue that that even exists there, which is really daggone cool, man. It is super cool. And I could go back, and again, back to the 2016, and I can keep working my way around. So you could be doing this on your cell phone or whatever, and you could be adding this stuff however you wanted to. But let me get my Angler app up here and find Grayson Lake really quick so I can show you what I mean by using both of them at the same time. So let's see here. Let me find this exact same point here on Grayson. All right, so here is the Angler app. Let me share this again. So here's the Angler app on the same bank. This little bank right here is the same thing. I can actually drop a waypoint here if I wanted to. So I can actually go in and drop waypoints here. And the cool thing about this is that I can actually go in and I can see that this stuff, and I can add points. Like if I wanted to add a point here, I could do that. I can go into my logbook. I can see what's happening there. But while I'm there, up here at the very top, we're not going to spend a ton of time here, but up here on the top where it says import waypoints, export waypoints, you can actually export your waypoints out of the Angler app, and you can export your waypoints and actually bring them into a graph, whether that be a Lowrance or a Hummingbird. So I can actually deal through this, and I can look at my information here and save this on the fly. So back to the task at hand here, we are looking at this same point. And again, this gives me a really cool way to try to break down a lake that I've never been to. So let's look at the lake that I'm going to be breaking down. Let's just see if I can find it on here. Lake Fork. Again, this is Texas. Apparently there's a Lake Fork, Ohio. Let's search for it. Sure enough, there it goes, driving me out, going to drop me in Texas, around Giannis, Texas. And here is Lake Fork. The oldest satellite imagery here is for 1985. The oldest one that's probably worth a crap is probably looks like 95. Not the greatest in the planet. I'm going to work my way up. 2003. Okay. And this is probably not a flood control lake. Looks like it does have a little bit of a drop to it here. 2005 satellite imagery is not the greatest either. So let's see if we can work our way through getting into the newer stuff so we can see some better imagery. Not a huge help here, but you can definitely tell these islands and stuff come way out, which is another cool feature. And let's just look at some of the newer stuff here. So 2012, the technology is getting a little better. The images are getting a little better. Let's go up and see like 2015. There's Caney Creek. Not so much helpful here. Let's see the newest one, which would be in 2000. This is March of 2019. The water seems to be a little low. I can see, Lake Fork, first and foremost, is plumb full of timber. So you have a lot of timber and stuff that's in the area. But another cool thing that you can do within this thing is, morality aside, is you can snipe spots from people doing this, because these boats right here are fishing in spots, and you can look around and see where people are fishing in different months. So this is April 2019. There's, it's hard to say what date it is, but here's a couple boats up in here. You know these guys are bass fishing. You know they just have to be there on the best bass lake pretty much on the planet right now, Lake Fork, and you could see where these people are fishing. They could be crappie fishing. There's a lot of crappie within there too, but these could give me some spots where we're actually going to be, trying to have, the ability to start. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to try to do the best I can because I know nothing about this lake. I know exactly where we're staying, which I think is next to this bridge right here. And if I'm not mistaken, it's right here. Let me zoom in and see. Sure enough, right here, we've rented this apartment right here on the lake, right here where you see my mouse cursor at. We've rented that thing. So we're going to have this out here. Our boat's going to be parked out here on this landing here. There is another cool thing is like we've already spotted it out here, but there's a boat ramp right around the way from that, which is really cool. There's some timber here in this area. Sometimes there is Google Street View available on the new stuff. And I can actually, I don't know if there's one here or not, but I can go out. For example, I know that one spot here, if I can find the spot again, let me zoom out here again, get back to the bridge. So this bridge right here, I believe, and I'm not sure I can do it on the Pro app or not, but you could. There we go. You just keep clicking down. And then now we are in road view. We are in street view, which is really pretty cool. So I can actually do a real-time version of driving across this bridge. And you may be thinking, Waller, why in the heck do I care about driving across the bridge? Well, the cool thing about this is that these are images captured by cars that are driving across this bridge. And if I can get it to go over a little quicker, I'd like to go out here. There we go. Click out there, get on the bridge. And I can pan around on this bridge and I can see what these banks look like. Literally live, real time. See exactly. It's not live, obviously. This is a photo from April, or March of 2019. But I can see the banks here of what this thing looks like. I can see what the banks are made up of. I might be able to see what what kind of structure or what kind of timber is available, what kind of grass is available. Sandy banks. I can, I'm working my way around and I'm using these different techniques as far as technology goes to try to better myself as a fisherman. So guys, if you guys are just now joining in, first and foremost, thanks for joining on this episode of On Another Line. We're talking about how I use Google Earth Pro to find different fishing spots on lakes that I'm trying to break down that I've either never been to or stuff that I want to actually fish, or I want to make myself a better fisherman on a lake. We talked about a second ago, we were talking about Grayson Lake, which is near me, and I use that to find different spots when the lake is lower as far as down the winter pool. Excuse me. I can actually mark spots on my Angler app and send it to my graph, or just use my Angler app on my phone to go to those spots. But this is the case in point of using technology. And again, this is a street view of Lake Fork, and I'm going across the bridge here of Lake Fork, and it's not going to be much helpful here because it's just a big open area here, but I can see some of the stuff that's real time and real view there, which is really pretty cool. So let's go back and look at Grayson Lake really quickly, and let's look at some of the other spots that may be handy for us to check out. Hold on one second here. Back to Grayson Lake we go, just here. I'm sure there is street view of Clifty Creek, if you guys are interested in seeing that. Bingo, bango, man. Street view. And again, this is the newest version of it. You're not going to have Street View on the old stuff. Like Street View is only like 2-3 years old, so you're not going to be able to see the historical dates or historical stuff on there, but gives you a pretty decent idea. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to go down in here and let's just look up into Clifty Creek since we're already here. Let's go way back in here in the head of Clifty Creek, what is known as, let's see, make sure this is Clifty. It is. This is. Zoom in here a little bit and let's take it back to the 2016 version. Now, this is where I get some amazing ideas for fishing, especially in the springtime and in the fall. Now, if you notice, this part of Grayson Lake is totally dry when it's down in the winter pool. But in the winter or in the summertime, it's actually about February, I think, early March, they start raising the water level back up. So you can go in, you can see this stuff. So check out this channel right here. This channel swing right here. There's a channel swing bank right here on this creek. And this is a really, really rocky area right here. This right here, depending on how deep it is up in here, this right here is going to be an absolute phenomenal place to check out in the springtime, because look at all this spawning flat up in here. It's crazy. And again, really steep bank right there where I have the cursor. And again, using the Angler app, if you were using this together, you could drop a waypoint there and actually get that information back to your phone or back to your graph, however you want to do that. But stuff like this, it allows me to, potentially become a better fisherman. So this looks like a really steep bank right here as well, with another big spawning flat here. Definitely a huge spawning flat up in there. That big, all those that sandy flat there would be amazing for the springtime. Looks like there may be Google. Sure enough, there is Street View here. You can't see much, but you can see a little bit. Pretty cool that it was there. So I thought that is really, really, really extraordinary there. Really cool little spot here. Bunch of rocks. Clifty Creek is pretty phenomenal to fish anyway, but I'm learning as I go. And let's see if we can go back a little bit more, like 2013. So the satellite imagery from 2013 is not as great. And it is also back up to summer pool. If I go to let's see, I saw December. If I can get it to stay there, stick and stay and make it pay. 2006. And again, the farther you go back, the satellite imagery gets worse and worse. So right now, my money maker for this is going to be April 2016. And I can literally bebop my way little by little around this entire lake. And another thing I want to talk to you about is that this is 100% free, guys. This is not paid for. There's two versions of it, and I'm going to show you the other version really quickly. And that is the one, if you just search Google Earth and you pull up the one that's online here, I'll search for Grayson Lake on here and you'll be able to find it as well. And when you find it, so we're already back to, this is Gatesville. Let's look for Grayson Lake and have it find Grayson for us. So now that I'm back here at Grayson Lake, I don't have the options up here to do the historical data. This is just the newest version of it. This is going to be, this is Bruin Creek Ramp right here. But this is the newest version of this thing. So I can't do that. And if it's on the web-based one, you can't see the historical data. You have to have this Google Earth Pro. And again, this is 100% free compared to, have to pay for like Navionics or something. What's up, Andrew? Yeah, it's pretty awesome, dude. I love this kind of technology. Yeah, so Grayson, Yatesville, a lot of different lakes that are flood control lakes. Herb, you're right. They do drop like that a lot. But this right here, is a satellite imagery from 2016 in April. And it's given me the opportunity to see some of this stuff. So like that's Clifty Creek. Let's go up into, let's go look at Deer Creek. And Deer Creek is actually past the main marina. So here's the main marina. And we are going to, let's go. So I'm looking down. Main marina. Up in here is Deer Creek. Here's the dam. There is a really pretty cool spot that I found in here the other day that I like a lot. And you can't really see it on satellite imagery. But right here on these little banks that are really cut in here on Deer Creek is really, really deep. But when it comes out on these points, they're nothing but big, giant flats. So these things right here are going to be transition banks for these, spawning fish. So as you go farther back in here, this is nothing more than a big, big, giant flat. So I actually caught a lot of fish at the in the springtime last year when they were spawning. I was fan casting this entire creek. I'm talking the entire thing. I had my boat directly in the center of this thing, was casting on both directions, in front of me, everywhere, with a rattle trap, and was picking up a lot of fish because they were out here spawning in this big flats. But I did find a lot of fish in spots that were transition banks, like this one right here. This is a steep rocky bank up in here, but with spawning flats all around it. And again, you've heard me talk about it time and time again. The reason I'm harping on it right now is because that's going to be the next season that's going to be upon us, which is going to be spring, and it's going to be pre-spawn. And these fish are going to stage up on these steep banks next to what I call transition banks. It's going to be fish that are going to be on steeper banks that are next to or close to a spawning flat. So if you can work your way and get your way into areas like that, it's going to be places where it's going to allow you to catch more fish, and it's going to allow you to be more of a efficient fisherman. And the reason that is because you're fishing high percentage spots. And again, I'm quickly going through this. I encourage you guys to go out and download this thing. Again, I have nothing to do with Google. Here's another cool thing that you can see. Here is a road bed that comes out in the water. Let's see what it looks like when it's a full pool. Look at all that road that you don't even know exists there at full pull. But yet when you go back to 2016 and it's well, maybe if I can get it to there, you can see that road bed goes all the way around through here and it actually cuts up in here. So if you're thinking that road bed goes this way, it really doesn't. It actually just comes down into the lake and then comes back out of here. So, you know, that piece of road bed right there would be a way that you could fish, but it doesn't go too far down in there. It gives me a little more knowledge. Here is the old beach at Grayson, which is here. Really good spawning flat in here. Kyle and I had one of the best trips to Grayson Lake I've ever had in my life right here on this bank. Kyle caught 2 fish that were over 10 pounds. Collectively, they were both 5 pound apiece. Lost another fish, and I caught one of the biggest striper or hybrid, I guess, that I've ever caught in my life right here on this bank in the same day. They were up in there chewing. That was in March or April for Lawrence County Bass Club tournament there. Shoot, man, it's been probably close to 10 years ago. Digging my way through, we went up in Clifty Creek a little while ago. And again, let's just look at another lake that may be in my area. Let's see. Let's look for Rocky Fork Lake, which is, 2 hours, less than 2 hours for me. Looks like the oldest data that they have for this lake or for this area is 1985 again. Lake was there. Satellite imagery sucks. There's 94, all black and white. What's going to happen? Obviously, I'm not going to have that kind of great technology back in there. 2011. Looks like they had a big giant algae bloom in 2011. Let's see what else. May 2012, July 2015, April 2017, which they don't draw this lake down, so you're not going to see a ton of stuff. And the newest one, which was March of 2021. So Rocky Fork is not going to be the greatest area for us to look at because they don't draw this down. This is not a flood control lake. But you could, again, as I said, morality aside, you could potentially find some spots that people are fishing. This is a dock that I fish all the time, actually, on Rocky Fork. Let's see. Not a whole lot of information for Rocky Fork. All right, let's see here. Hey, Mark. So this is actual Google Earth Pro. It is free. If you have a computer, whether it be a Google or a Macintosh or a Windows-based machine, you can download it for free. Just go over to Google and search for Google Earth Pro. You have to download it and install it. It does not work for the actual. There's a web-based version of it, which if you just search for Google Earth on Google, you can pull up a web-based version of it. You can't do that on that. You have to actually download the Pro version, which usually Pro means you pay for it. In this case, you don't. Just download it and install it. And right here at the top, there is a little thing. It's got like a clock, probably really tough for you guys to see, but it's got a little clock with a back green arrow, just means historical data. If you select that, it brings up a slider that you can actually bring it back to years past where they have data as far as satellite imaging. It's 100% free. Yeah, for sure, man. Yatesville. Let's talk about Yatesville in just a second. We'll pull her up here. Let's see what's up. Yatesville Lake. Pull it up while we're doing that. Yeah, you're right, Herb. We'll pull up some Paint Creek too. That's a very good point there. So let's look at Yatesville and let's see if we can get Yatesville down to winter pool at all here. 2011. That's there's. Let's see here. May not be possible. That looks like that's down the winter pool a little bit. It looks like there was one in April 2011, but it's already back up to full pool. Let's see if I can get some potential, it's not be great footage or great stuff here, but let's see. There's one from 95. Man, that's an old one. No marina there in 95, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. That one is down at winter pool, but that is 96. That looks terrible. Adam, we're out of luck, bro. No real good footage here. But if you want my advice on some places that you should definitely check out at Yatesville Lake, let's knock this out really quick. You can't fish around the marina. You're not supposed to. But this bank right here, a lot of times when you're fishing a tournament, they won't let you fish it because it's in between the buoys, and it makes sense. But all the retread fish that get turned loose in this lake come out of this ramp right here. I've never heard of another lake or another ramp having, other than Lawrence County had a ramp for a tournament we would go out of Greenbrier Creek, but either Greenbrier Creek or this ramp right here is where all the fish get turned back loose that get turned in for tournaments. And these fish congregate in this area right here. I hooked probably a 5-pounder this spring. If you guys saw the video on TikTok or whatever, I didn't post a video about it because I didn't catch a load of. Maybe I did post a video about it, but I was throwing a jig that I caught and it was dark. It was early there. I got there real early in the morning because I wanted to try to jump in an open. There was none, or there was tons of tournaments, but not a single open. So I just hopped in the water and it was pitch black dark. It was like 5:30 in the morning. So I just started going down this bank and ended up catching 4 or 5 fish, 2 keepers, and I ended up catching in this pocket right here. I hooked at least a 5-pounder, man, and I had it, and I couldn't even see it. I just knew it was a big one. It come up and jumped and got it next to the bank boat, and I was like, man, if this is a fish, and actually before it jumps, if this is a fish, it's a big one. I made about 2 cranks, and it jumped right by the boat, and it was just an absolute slammer of a bass. I made 2 cranks, and she gone. But I did catch some there. I've caught a lot of fish off this bank right here, to be honest with you. Right across the main marina is a really good one. The dam right here is really deep. I see a lot of people fishing this thing right here. I will tell you that on this point right here, they dump a lot of Christmas trees and stuff in the this time of year. So really good spot to check out there, especially when it gets into the summertime. But here in Yatesville Lake, so as we're traveling around, there's Nelson Hollow. Right here is what's known as let's make sure that is true. If that is the right one, I believe that is Carter Island right here. Carter Island is a really good place to fish. There's this bank right here, or this cove right here, is plumb full of timber. Really good place to fish. Got some big ones out of there before. Let's see, where else? Where am I at now? So this is going to be Blaine Creek. Blaine Creek up by the Miller's Branch Bridge. This whole arm right here is really good. Caught the biggest bass I've ever caught out of Yatesville in my life right here off this bank right here. Be careful if you get up in here when you're running around with your boat. There's a buoy right here that will from here on up it is going to be no wake, but be careful. Out in this area, it's really, really shallow. You have to kind of come back in this way and then get back in there, but you're not going to want to be running up in there anyway because there's a bunch of timber. I've never been past this area right here. You can go way up in here, I think. Never done it. But the farthest I've ever been is around this bridge, but I did catch a lot of fish up in this area right here. Again, one of the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life out of Grayson. Come out of right here on this ledge. and I caught a giant right here. There's like a culvert that comes out right here. I think that's that culvert on a red spinnerbait in the springtime. Smoked one right there. A really good fish. Back out of Blaine Creek, going back up into heading towards, let's see. Let's just look at, so I fished a tournament at Yatesville the other day, and back in here, this is known as Twin Branch. So Diamond Hollow here goes way back in here. I didn't know it was called Diamond Hollow. We're going to say that it's called Diamond Hollow. But anyway, this is Twin Branch. Going up in here, this, you guys saw it there the other day, and I will just go ahead and let you guys have it if you guys are interested. You guys saw me and Brandon Buckner fishing a tournament the other day, and we caught a ton of fish. No keepers. We caught like 13 fish, which is better than anybody in the tournament, other than the people that caught the 3 keepers that were weighed in. This bank right here, starting at the mouth of the left-hand side of Twin Branch, from about right here all the way to here was on fire. And then we didn't catch anything in this little gully, and then from here to this point right here, it was on fire again. And we fished all the way back into here and never caught another fish. So it's like, you know what? We're going to go back up here and fish this thing. This is the channel swing bank. This is the deeper side of it. We fished it up and back and up again and caught fish every time we went up through there. No keepers, but there was fish there. Again, don't leave fish to find fish, which is something that I have a hard time understanding. But really good spot there. That bank is really good. Bunch of timber in there. Be careful. Obviously, this is no ski. You can run in here, but up into the Twin Branches there, it is no wake. Let's see. Like I said, Carter Island is really good there. I have not seen it. I see a lot of people graphing this area right here in the main stretch right here. I don't know what's there. I don't have good enough graphs to tell you, but there must be a hump or something there. I do know for a fact, let me find it here, right here. Is this it? Nope, that is just a little bit fast at. Right here, this is Sand Branch, I believe, right here. Right out from that is a big giant hump right here that I've fished, I bet, 50 times in my life. I pull up there, spring, fall, summer, winter, you name it. I've casted everything I know to cast at those things. I'm talking rattle traps. I'm talking, buzz baits in the summertime. I'm talking Carolina rigs. I'm talking, you name it. I've thrown it on that hump right there. And for the life of me, I've never caught a fish. I know it has to hold fish. There has to be one that swims up on there every now and again, but there's a there's a big hump right here that I've never caught a fish off from. But this bank that's back here is extremely deep. I'm talking the channel swing in this area is like 40 foot deep right here, which is crazy. So maybe that's where they're at. But they are definitely not on that hump anytime that I can find them. If you guys find them out there, let me know. Yeah, this spot right here, right past this right here. Let me pull this back up so you guys can see it. But this spot right here, right past that, is where it is actually, people are graphing like crazy in there. So might be something you check it out. Hey, Will, what's up, buddy? I am in the most southern tip of Ohio. Let's just pull it up here. I live here in the massive town of Ohio, or of Colgrove, Ohio, which is right next to the mighty Ohio River. And this is Ashland, Kentucky here. Portsmouth, Ohio is about 30 minutes downriver for me. Huntington, West Virginia. We are very, very close to, we're actually in the tri-state area there. So South Point that you see here on the map is the most southern tip of Ohio. And that is basically where I call home. So let's just pull it out here so you can see the entirety of it. So there is Ohio. You can see Colgrove right there. We are at the very almost, the most southern tip. Southern tip is going to be South Point. We are really daggone close, man. Thanks for joining in, Will. So just for craps and giggles, guys, I wanted to show you that because it is something that I use a lot. It is free. Google Earth Pro. Google Earth does not work. If you just go to Google Earth and you search for Google Earth on Google and you open it up, it's not going to run. It's not going to do what you want it to do on the application. But again, if you guys are not on the Angler app, you should definitely do that. It's free. You don't have to have anything other than a smartphone to run it. I'm going to try to bring my stuff up here, and I'm going to show you my logbook, some of the cool things that I've done. And let's just pull up this trip here. So I'm going to bring over here StreamYard, and I'm going to do this. So this is the trip that we just did there the other day with me and Brandon Buckner it was New Year's Eve at Yatesville. One of the cool things about this is, guys, that you guys can add me as a friend on Angler. This is the only application on the planet that I am verified on. You can see I got the old Angler Pro blue check mark up there, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this is a logbook. You can see here, you talk about, I wasn't lying to you. Here is the bank that I was just talking about. Let's make this a little bigger so you can see it. The bank that I was just talking about on there, you can see all the fish that were caught here. And the cool thing about the Angler app is, guys, if you are capturing photos along the way working with this stuff, you could actually bring in the photographs and check these out. The thing about that is, though, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I actually took a picture, and it's not going to be any bigger for you guys. You might be able to see it. But I caught that fish on a pink Ned rig, weedless Ned rig. It was a funny story. I didn't have a spinning rod in the boat. I left everything out of my boat. Again, I bring it out of my boat to clean it in the wintertime. I left everything. New Year's Eve, we never fish here in Ohio. Did get the opportunity to go out, pack 4 rods. Brandon brought a bunch of rods and went fishing. But Misty's rod was still in there, so I picked it up, had a pink Ned rig on it, and I ended up catching 6 fish on it, which was crazy. But you can see here right on the bank, like I said, I wasn't lying to you a second ago when I told you that I caught fish on those banks. And notice here, I told you, we caught it all around those banks, and this gully right here didn't hold any fish, but then back here on the point. So this will be a secondary lake point. So let's break that down really quick. So what makes a primary, what makes a secondary, and what makes a tertiary point? Well, primary is going to be out on a main lake, something like this point right here. This is going to be a primary main lake point. However, you go up into a creek like Twin Branch right here, and this right here would be probably, in my opinion, would be more like a main lake point. This is going to be a primary point out on the main lake. However, when you go back in here, this point is going to be a secondary point, and then back in here would be a third point or a tertiary point if you're in that way, if you're there. But I thought, well, maybe these things are getting stacked up on these points, maybe the secondary and tertiary points. So I left from here and went and tried some other spots and never caught any fish. So it was one of those things that they were just held on there for some reason, but they did, they were there. So here's another cool thing that you can do with the Angler app. And I don't want to spend too much time on here because we're about 45 minutes in talking about technology, but it is about fishing. But you can see that we caught 12 fish. You don't have to mark fish, but you can mark it on your cell phone. But if you have an Angler Bullseye, you can just press it. I think they're like $29, or maybe I think they're $19 actually now. But you can see here. But the cool thing about this is that hopefully this shows up for you guys. When I hit replay trip here, it actually will show me a replay of the actual trip here in just a second. It should. When I hit replay, it shows here and exactly, we're putting the boat in the water there, and it shows what's going on, and, it shows where we're going, waiting to take off. And this is literally live as it happened. You can see I made the run right around and went right up into Twin Branch. And then you can see the fish show up on the screen as we catch them if we take photographs of them. So I didn't take photographs of those 2 fish right there, but as you're working here, there's a fish that we caught. I took a picture of. Let's see what else happens here a little bit more. And so we're working our way. There's another fish, and again, these are tiny fish. There's Brandon with his massive hammer of a fish that he caught. And again, we fished all the way back in here, and you can see where I'm fishing. I'm making these big zigzag patterns because all that timber and stuff, but you can see that I'm working in there. I think we ended up catching a fish right in here somewhere. I guess not. I'm lying to you. Fished all the way back in here with nothing. No fish. So we're fishing right around there. I actually lost a bait right in there. So if you guys are looking for a bait, there's one right there somewhere. Fish all the way up this bank. No fish at all. It was just not deep enough. It was shallow on that side. And then at this point right here, I was like, you know what? We're going back over to this bank. There's nothing on this bank. So bingo. I go over there, and within the first 50 feet of us going, I caught 2 more bass. This is a pretty good spot there. There's another fish that we caught with a photograph on it. And then, that basically gives you the replay of the trip. And another cool thing that you can do, especially if you have friends and family that like to watch you fish, is if you're using the Angler app on your cell phone, you can actually go live if you have cell phone signal, and they can actually see this on a map and see you running, see where you're at. They can't see your voice or see you, face to face or anything, but they can see where you're at on the lake. So if this is really actually a pretty cool feature, because if you are going fishing at a lake that you don't know where this is at, you can actually go live and share this with your friends and or your loved ones or your wife, your husband, whatever, and give them an opportunity to see where you're at. Should you ever need help or whatever. So here's another thing that I really like about the Angler app is that you can see data trends. For example, we started working on this stuff. Let's say that you can see right here that I started catching fish kind of in two different sections here. So maybe it could have been the times that we're on, but I want you to check out the barometer here. The pressure was dropping like crazy. Started out here, 1,012 millibars, gets up to about 1,013 millibars, so about about whole millibar there, and then it goes down to where we're it goes down about 3 millibars there in pressure, which is crazy. And wind speed, it shows wind direction, it shows cloud coverage. And again, you can see, and if you had a data as far as gauges go, as far as water gauges, it would bring in water flow data for you as well. So you may be thinking to yourself, why on earth do I care about this? Does this matter to me? What happened? Well, here's the thing. If I were to go, and it's going to find, I don't know that I can't search for this. Let me get out of here for a second. Let me see if I can find this trip. And I want to show you something really handy that I found one time, and I don't know that I can even find it because it's been forever. One of the things that I don't like, and maybe I'm wrong, let me go to the top unless they've changed it. I don't think you can search for trips. I don't think you can. But you can do dates. Let's see. Filters. You guys are not seeing this. I apologize. I'm trying to find one, specific trip here I want to show you that I found some really cool information about. It was actually on Paint Creek. We were talking about Paint Creek earlier. And again, all this stuff here is private, by the way. You're seeing all my data here, but only because I'm logged in. If you don't want to share your data, you don't have to. It's not shared by default. You actually have to share it to people. Nobody else is going to see this. You can see here that I run this a lot. There's a Shimano owners tournament here at Grayson Lake, or at this was at Lake Cumberland. Another cool thing is if you have buddies that you fish with all the time, you could share trips back and forth to see, like you can split up data. You can split up different, like you could split the lake up and take 2 or 3 different spots and then see which one's better. So let's see here. There's Rocky Fork. No, I'm looking for. I'm sorry, guys. This is getting monotonous here, so I'm not going to look much farther. But there's one here that I really, really thought was really pretty daggone cool. It's been forever ago, apparently. Maybe this is it. I'm hoping this is it. If not, this is what we're going to go with here. Now, let's see here. This is not it. But if it were, I'll see if I can find it and show you guys next time. I don't want to bore you guys to death, but there's a time on here. I thought this is it, but apparently it's not. But you could see the very first time I caught a fish was when the wind had changed directions by about 30 minutes. It had been blowing like from the east 1 minute, and then like a half hour later it had switched and come from a different it had turned and switched totally opposite ends, and I started catching fish. So was that something that is, a coincidence? Who knows? But is that something I can throw in the old memory bank for things that could happen in the future. All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps it up for this episode of On Another Line. Just wanted to show you guys a little technology that you can use to find fish in the wintertime, especially if you don't have anything to do and you can't fish like I can here in Ohio. I do have some videos coming out on my YouTube channel. If you haven't went over there and subscribed on YouTube, if you're just out there in Facebook land, I'd appreciate it if you would hit that YouTube subscribe button. Totally free. Doesn't cost you a single quarter to subscribe on YouTube. Basically, the only thing you're doing is saying that you're going to get an email from me when I send out a new video. Excuse me, but I have a 4,000 subscriber goal by the end of 2022 fishing season, and that starts now. So, Will, not a problem, buddy. I hope you found some of this interesting. I do have some reel cleaning videos coming out. I'll be talking about this I-Series Corrado and be cleaning it, which is a fairly intricate reel that everybody likes. I do have the Chronarch E-Series coming out. This is a cleaning video. And the next live video next Tuesday is going to be talking about what types of line to throw and when to throw it, in my opinion. Again, guys, thank you guys for joining in. Obviously, I am not a single pro. I'm not a pro at all, but I did reach out to some pros, by the way. I'm trying to get some things in there. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but if any of you guys out there want to be on the show, I recommend you doing it. Get a hold of me. We'll Skype, we'll do some, I'll send you a link and you will join in. It'll be fun. I would love for that to happen. I'm still waiting on my NRX Plus. When I get my NRX Plus in, all three, I'll have 5 of them. I have 2 of them now. I need 3 more to come in, hopefully before April. That's pretty crazy. Another quick note. Let me make sure that I get this calendar date right because you guys are going to want to know this if you're in my area. I talked to Greg Drown at the Tackle Box, and the Tackle Box open house for this year is going to be February 12th and 13th, right before Valentine's Day. So get your sweetheart to come up there and buy you a new Shimano or G-Limus reel or rod and come and see me. I'll be working there both days, Saturday and Sunday. I think the Saturday starts at 9 o'clock, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 5, I think, 9 to 6, not sure. Next day is 10 to 4, I believe, on a Sunday. Totally free to come in. Huge deals, usually 15% off a lot of different things. Usually Yamamoto baits are a steal of a deal. Usually Rapala stuff is on sale. All the Zoom baits, usually 10 to 15% off all rods and reels. And again, that is going to be February 12th and 13th, coming up very, very soon here. So, we're talking right at a month from now will be Tackle Box open house, and it's going to be a good time. So if you guys are in the area and you want to come up and see me and hang out and shoot the breeze, definitely do so. I'll be there, but I'll see you guys next time on Another Line Live, which will be next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, if you guys can, get out there and lean on them. Adam, thanks for joining, man. Thanks for the support. Always means a lot to me, man. I appreciate it. I did get some new lighting in this joint. Look at this thing. I mean, it looks, it makes me look not so ugly. Anyway, guys, have a great evening. Thanks for joining around. We'll see you guys next time. And again, as I've already mentioned, if you can get out there and lean on them, do so. Quick note, hats are coming. I do have hats coming. They'll be coming. I ordered 50 of them. I will let you know I'll post them on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever you need to do. I'm not going to make a quarter off from them. I'll pay, if you want them shipped, you're going to have to pay for that, but they're going to be roughly $18 to $20 a piece, and that's what I'm going to have in them. So, if you guys are wanting one, we can get one here, and I'll definitely have some at the Tackle Box open house that you can buy up there. But if you want me to ship you one, I will do that. It'll be whatever the hat costs plus shipping. I'm not making a quarter. Just appreciate you guys repping the brand. Another thing, speaking of which, new brand out there, if you guys have not seen that, is Apex Fishing Apparel. Go to apexfishingapparel.com. My buddy Mark Hickey and his wife Stephanie have a great thing going on. They will be at the Cincinnati Boat Show this weekend with a ton of different things. Also, jbsfishsauce.com, OALL20. So on Another Line Live, 20 OALL20 will save you 20% off of JB's Fish Sauce. And again, apexfishingapparel.com. If you use the code Waller10, it'll save you 10%. And guys, I'm not making any money off that stuff. It's just helping you guys out. So help You need help. You, David, I got you, buddy. Definitely. I put a post out on Facebook the other day. I'm sure you guys saw that after the last live show, and it went out like wildfire. And there was a ton of people there that was interested in doing it. There was way more people in this area that make hats than I thought, but I do have some. They're coming. I will definitely save you one. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in with us tonight. Guys, we'll see you next time on Another Line. Get out there and lean on them when you can. If not, shoot me a message. Let's do some fish talking. See y'all.